I don't know, never know where to put it.
Yeah, you're like going like I'm on bootleg. I'm just talking into my MacBook speaker. You got lapel mics.
I'm like,
You got a key light on you? You got a light on you?
yeah, no, watch this. I will though. Now that you said that, shoot. Part 3. Let's get it started. Demetrius out there. There's the light.
I'm getting all the notifications on my phone. It says
Oh,
Michael Gabriel live.
I can hear you again talking to yourself. You're like double.
Oh, let me see about that setting. It shouldn't be off. I didn't do nothing with it. Echo cancellation is off.
No, you.
What about now?
I can hear myself. Are you? Do you have your Facebook on? Because it's like back. It's like double feed. Because I
The
think I can
Facebook,
hear. It's
bro.
not
I don't think
echo. It's like a delay. I think it's like playing live. Maybe it's me.
bro. I don't have. I'm not even on. I don't be on Facebook.
It's me.
I haven't changed nothing since last
There,
time.
done. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. I'm so sorry about that, everybody. What happened was it was hitting through my speakers, us live on Instagram because I was logged into Instagram.
Oh,
So I don't even know if it's live on Instagram now anymore because I shut off Instagram.
it's
Crazy.
I see the check mark over here. Listen, this is going live is
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It was a little like I was like, why are you talking, double talking?
you
Like,
at least need like when you start anything like this, you at least need like a full like 5 sessions just to get all the like knock the dust off.
yeah. Well, we're not supposed to be good right now, anyways. It's only number 3.
Yeah.
It's only number 3. And number 3 is supposed to be about where we at now. We went through how we met, we went through our progression through business, and now it's all about where we are now. The question is, when did it start? And I don't want to say start, like when did I start my own path and you start your own path? Because I can't remember when that was.
I think it's like 6, 7 years ago,
All right, 6, 7 years ago.
maybe
Did you
longer.
move? Did you move or did I move?
You moved to Columbus.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's what I remember happening. Okay. So I remember like being in school, DePaul. I remember maybe having a resume up somewhere, but Central Health Primary Care, the hospital system reaches out to
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
The hospital says, "Hey, we're looking for a marketing guy. Do you want to come down?" And I remember this specifically because they said Westerville. And I was like, I thought Westerville was in Akron. And that's only like 20, 30 minutes away from where
Mhm.
we lived, right? So I was
Mhm.
like, okay, I could do Akron. That's no big deal. And funny enough, I told her when I was gonna go there and I put it in my GPS. I remember it saying 2 hours and like the line went straight down.
Yeah.
Like, no way. But this is what I told myself. I said, listen, if it's meant to be, the doors will open and doors will close, right? So if you
Yeah.
believe in God or a higher power, right? I said, God will open the doors if he wants me there, or God will close the door.
Mhm.
And funny enough, everything just trickled perfectly for me to be there. And yeah, I moved down. And I think that it was a little tough because I have kids back at home and I wasn't
Mhm.
necessarily with any of them at the time.
Mhm.
And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna come pick up the kids and I'm gonna get them every other weekend. And I did that for many, many, many years. So I think from there, okay, now I know where I'm going, right? So from
Mhm.
there, I went to um the CIO became my Angelo Mazziaco came like one of my great mentors.
Mhm.
From this day, we still talk. He still gives me good references, whatever I need. Well, I've developed a very strong relationship with him, and it was actually very good that I did that. I appreciate that relationship. One
Hmm.
thing that I've learned, funny enough, through Angelo Mazziaco and Angelo, is it Russo? Your
Russo.
Angelo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're all about relationships.
Yeah.
These old school, like, Italian. And as I watch that, I see that as the importance of today, how relationships open up doors for me.
Hmm.
And I think I specifically try to go out my way to make sure like I build good relationships because of these two guys.
I mean, people only work with who they like.
Yeah,
I mean, qualifications do matter, but like if they like you, that opens up so many more doors.
for sure. So Angelo ends up going to a tech company. In the meantime, I transitioned from the hospital system to a director of marketing at the bank. We worked together there at the bank, right? I brought you in for a lot of projects. Um, and COVID happened.
Hmm.
And as the director of marketing, I still had clients on the side, right? It
Hmm.
wasn't necessarily I totally stopped my agency or whatever we do. I know we kind of went our separate ways. So I had not, and then didn't even know what the agency was. It was just me freelancing for
Yeah.
people that I knew, right?
Yeah.
So from there, the the bank happened, director of marketing at the bank shuts down because COVID, right?
Hmm.
And a few weeks after all the shutdown, I was let go.
Hmm.
And I remember going to my clients because I think I was doing the marketing for free. That's how much
Hmm.
I freaking love marketing. Like I was like, all right, I was doing this for free, but guys, it all hit the fan,
Yeah.
and like everybody get charged.
Yeah.
And
Check your
funny
inbox.
enough,
There's an invoice in
yeah,
there.
yeah, for sure. I was like, all right, guys, we've been doing this for like 6 months, but it is time that everybody pays the piper. But no one gave me any kickback. I wouldn't think, I wouldn't think they would have. But from there, I started making almost as much money as I was making, if not more, from those 5, 6 clients than I was at the bank. And
Hmm.
then I realized at that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, like I could do this full time and survive. In that moment, though, as I was transitioning, the CIO from the healthcare system came to me and said, hey, look, we got this position at this new tech company that I'm going to be CEO at. Do you want to come on? And I end up coming on because, well, now I'm like, I'm getting paid the salary and I'm
Yeah.
getting paid the clients. It was
Yeah.
like, it was heaven. Unfortunately, his reign there was very short, maybe 4 or 5 months, 6 months at the most. He left. They kept me on, but it just didn't feel right. Like felt like I was betraying him because how things happen. Like someone came in and it was like, oh, it felt so dirty. My allegiance is to Angelo, da 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 da. And from there, I realized that I'm just kind of better off on my own,
Yeah.
and which leads me to where I'm at today, right? So fast forward 3 or 4 years from there, and I have 20 plus clients. They kind of range, but anywhere from 15 to 20 clients. I have 5, 6 people working for me at a time, and we're just kicking ass and taking names. So it's been great. I have big clients that everyone knows of. I have, clients that nobody knows of. And it's a good feeling. And so where I am today is I'm trying to still figure out my thing as I work
Mhm.
with a lot of people. Um, and I think I'm going to get into teaching people how to play poker.
Yeah.
That's
It's
like the
that
fastest version I can give you.
it's the passion part. I think the passion part comes with listen, I don't know everything, but I do come up with a lot of hypotheses. I don't know the right way to say it, but I think it's just our age. I think you're a couple years older than me, and you just get to a certain point where it's like, I don't want to let some of that passion stuff go, working just to work, even if you're making money. And like you said, you love marketing. I love marketing. I love building businesses. But then it starts to get to about like what type of businesses am I building? So I think for me, like when you went to Columbus, I never I never could work for somebody, and I've thought about it, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, right? Like, I don't think what you did was bad. There's really two reasons why I don't think I ever went the route of working for somebody. Number one is I don't have a college degree. And like everybody's surprised I don't have a college degree. And the main reason they're surprised is because I went so deep into like what we do. They're like, I very knowledgeable. But pre-COVID, they still wanted college degrees for marketing jobs and branding, and so I just kind of like part of me was like, there's like no point because I wouldn't get what I'm worth, if I have to go up under a company. Now post COVID is different. I've been offered some stuff that I'm like, dang, okay, hey, let me think about this, right? Because at COVID broke everything. Like people are like, man, we just like, you know, everything was broke with COVID. But the second reason is that I think my favorite thing about entrepreneurship is just like the freedom. And it's just like that. It's to the point where even in my marriage, like that's like there's that book like the love languages. I don't even know if that's a love language, but I told my wife, I was like, the moment you start asking me questions, like, hey, I'm going out with the guys tonight. And I'm talking about literally just going out to watch the game at a bar and you have drinks, like just the most innocent thing. I'm not even talking about going to strip clubs and guys. And I ain't even talking about none of that. The moment my wife's like, oh, what are you guys gonna do? What do you guys what get? I'm like, it's like, let me be free. You know what I'm saying? I need freedom. But anyway, so I just was like freelancing. And I know me and you had a lot of conversations about this because I was very frustrated because I realized that freelancing is like the lowest form, and it's not necessarily like it depends on who you are, but for me, this bothered me. For everyone else, it doesn't have to be a big deal, but freelancing to me is like the lowest form of entrepreneurship. And that's not a negative. That's not what I wanted. When I think about entrepreneurship and freedom, I think about time freedom, not just financial freedom, right? Um, Doing less but making more. And that's not laziness. That's just smart. That's what businesses do. Like, why would you hire 5 employees so they can do 5 times more work? Not so that you can do the same amount of work as them. You're trying to do less work as the founder or the CEO or the person in charge, right? So I realized that, like, as a freelancer, all I did is just gave myself a job.
Mm.
Like I still and I had a bunch of different like bosses basically, which is my clients. Which again, there's nothing wrong with this, right? It's just for me, I didn't build up those systems. I didn't build up the efficiencies. So like my knowledge and my abilities, people were getting access to me for prices that they shouldn't have been able to get access to me for because I was pretty much like, you ever seen like the president of the United States? He'll do a photo op, so he'll go like volunteer at like a soup kitchen to take some pictures, like
Yeah.
to feed the homeless. It's like we don't need our president like feeding the homeless. Like I know it's for the photo op, but imagine if he like really after he became the president, he said, I really like volunteering. Let me go do this. It's like, bro, all the knowledge you have, all the connections you have, all the experience you have, foreign relations, all this different stuff, secrets that no one knows, and you're going to go do that. That's kind of what I felt like I was doing. So, and me and you've had, I think we had conversations like every week about this, right? And so I started kind of like messing around, and I think I told you a new business idea every other week after that, because I was like, I
Mm.
think I want to get into like the startup. I want to like come up with businesses. Like I want to, and I would tell you stuff. You would say, that's a great idea. That's a bad idea. Think about this, think about that. And I think I went through a period of just kind of like doing startups, just like just kind of getting them off the ground a little bit. And then I'll come back to you, be like, yeah, I got a whole new idea now. And I think about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. So that whole time I was making money, right? Wasn't making the money I could have made. During COVID, I made way more money than I should have made, that I deserved to make. But I was able to sustain myself. I was able to have a decent life, but never where I feel like I should have been, right? Maybe about a year ago, year and a half ago. I I don't know what it wasn't that long ago, basically. There's two different things that happened. The first thing that happened is my cousin came to me with an idea that I actually didn't think was a good idea at first, but I wanted to help him. And I ended up building this app for him. But during the process of me building the app for him, we went through like 3 months of just talking about the idea. And I was just doing the marketing mind. So what we were basically doing like a business intensive. Like I was refining the idea and basically making it make sense, right? His idea was great, but together and just based off my experience, I just helped refine it and make it a better idea. And then at that point, I kind of got excited about it. I was like, this seems like this could be a great business, but this is a startup business. So this is not a cash flow business. It's not a lifestyle business. This is like you build it, you get investors, and then you sell it. It's like you really don't win until the end in this business, right? So that wasn't enough for me because it didn't replace the fact that I was trying to like have cash. I want to have money every month, you know. So you started talking about a tool or a software that we used. We actually came in contact with it years ago, and it was nowhere near where it is now. I don't even know if I want to say it, not because it's a secret. I just don't know if I don't know if I want to say it right now. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I'll just say it's an all-in-one marketing business operating system for the most part. And they have like a white label aspect to it, and it's really powerful. And you called me and said, "Hey, I think I figured out I think I figured out the formula." Because you knew my frustration. My frustration was is I want to build a business that I just run the business. I don't have to like work with individual clients, which I love the client work, but the only problem with the client work is if you don't delegate, your head's in a computer and you're doing too much, you can't build anything. You're just maintaining somebody else's business. Um, so long story short, I got this other I got this other business on the side with my cousin. We end up getting investors. We got a seed round investment, and it's called GoCast, and it's like it's like one of those things where it's like I'm excited about it because I can see where it can take us. Because we already got press, we already got written up in the press so far, which is crazy because 2 weeks ago, like we weren't. As soon as we started putting it out there, people were like like there's a way to send stuff to like basically like send stuff to like press releases to reporters and journalists that like need something to write about, and if they like your story they'll write about it. So that started happening, and again, that's not nothing to brag about. It's just before like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, like no one knew about it other than our investor. And then like obviously we submitted it to the app store and all that, and we got some initial approvals for open beta testing and all that. So it's exciting, right? But again, I need the bacon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
All these
going
all
back
these startups, all these startups don't pay the bills.
they don't pay the bills, right? So so going back to the software, there's this company I start my back in the day. I made an attempt to start an agency called the Giant Maker, and I always loved the name. The Giant Maker had an amazing logo, and I had the giantmaker.com for the longest time. Let it go. Somebody else bought it. They
Oh,
let it go. I bought it back, and I had it for like 2 years just sitting on it, right? So I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna run the strategy that you said, right? But I said, I think my problem is that I'm trying to do stuff by myself. And
mm,
you were always telling me, like, bro, it's like it's not it's you said it's not how you're gonna do it, it's who's gonna do it or something like that.
yeah.
So I brought on my cousin Kyle, and my friend Rod, and they say you shouldn't do business with family. But this is a unique situation because my cousin is all operations, and currently he works at a bank, and he like is a product manager of this like fintech product at a bank, and he's like he's like uniquely like skilled to help with this company, because you know this, our styles, me and your styles are different. And we were driving each other crazy, but not in a like a way where it was like it just we were driving each other crazy. It was leave it at that. It wasn't like we hated each other. It was just like, bro, you're so unorganized. And I was like, dude, come on, let's be a little bit more flexible and free. Come on, let's rip our shirts off, you know. But because he's my cousin, we challenge each other all the time. So in that challenging, we always end up arriving at the compromised but almost better path to move forward. So just to wrap all that up is, on one side, I have this tech company that I'm very proud of, very excited about, and I do think that my all the years I've been in business, I'm uniquely skilled and have an understanding of this business is specifically about getting users and getting attention, and then somebody's going to buy the company because they want access to these people. So I know exactly what the business is. We're not necessarily trying to solve a problem that saves the world. It does solve a problem, but I feel like it's definitely like this is for a cash out. Okay, that's number one. And then this other business, which I feel like is the thing I'm really working in every day, is the SaaS product. But because I am kind of like more of a developer now, and I mess around with app development and things like that, and I jumped on the AI boom 2 years ago, and I've been doing the AI stuff ever since. We've been developing some tools as lead magnets, because I wanted to take the lead magnet to a new level. So what I did is I basically use AI in a form from the software that I'm talking about, where it's called Brand Maker AI, and it asks you 5 questions, and you can put one word answers, and it spits out like a business intensive. So it'll email you a business intensive. So it asks you the name of your business, the problem you solve, your solution, your target audience, your brand, and then there's one more question. I think there's 5 total, and then you just hit submit, and it runs it through all these AI modules that I trained, and basically spits you out and sends you an email. But what that does is, in the email, it teaches you something about target audience, and then it gives you the answers that the AI gave you. And it does that for each section. And then at the bottom, it has a demo of the software, and it has opportunity to take a 30-day free trial. So the reason that I'm excited about this is because I wouldn't be able to do this stuff if all the years of stuff we were working. So that software to me is kind of like my Willy Wonka golden ticket. But I'm gonna say something, and you might think I'm crazy, or you might say it makes sense. We still have to do the agency stuff. It's building a software company, even if it is kind of pre-built for you, and you're just adding the brand and the education and kind of that stuff on top of it. You can't beat. It's hard to sell an expensive product. It's easy to sell an expensive service. And it's hard for me to not go back to, if you go to our first live stream where we talked about the amount of money we were making when we first started our agency like 12 years ago. It's hard to not do it. But now I have a team that I can work with, so I don't have to be overwhelmed. So that's basically it. I have a marketing company that does various things, and then I have a startup. And then other than that, I'm just trying to do stuff like this, like build my personal brand. I'm moving to California in 6 months. So I'm just trying to put myself out there. I'm trying to rise above just being a designer, web designer. Like I want to be like, I want to have a platform and a voice.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at now.
Well, I think that for me, when my like first real hire, that's when I felt the potential of like, wow, I can explode now.
Yeah.
And I recently brought someone else new on like a month ago, and it has given me so much time to work on more strategy stuff,
Yeah.
work on my personal stuff, like I'm not so in date, like so deep where I'm like, oh, putting out
Yeah.
all these buyers.
Yeah.
So I think you like, the entrepreneur, if you say was the freelancer, that was yeah, you just got yourself a job.
Yeah.
When you're managing people to do your job, now you have a business.
Yes.
Talk about freedom. Like I have
Yeah.
freedom now to do whatever. I mean, I have meetings I go to and
Yeah.
but I'm not slammed on 9 to 5
But
in an
like you said,
office.
it's still fun. I don't want to
Oh,
not
I
do nothing. I like it.
know. Listen, I was doing it for free, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's how
It's
much
just
I love
like
it. I was doing it for free.
I can't build another website, man. I can't design another logo. I've been there, done that, and it's just like for example, like our own website for the Giant Maker. I built it, right? It took me forever because I didn't even have the passion to do the website. I was like, but I know we need it. It's just like it was like dreadful. And I used to say, I don't mind building websites and stuff for stuff I'm doing. Bro, I don't want to do it
Yeah.
at all no more. Like if I don't have to open up Photoshop no more, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I still like the creative part of things. I mean, I showed you that design earlier. Like, I
Yeah.
just like that part of
Well,
it,
maybe because that's you got all this time now.
Ah, right.
Yes.
Maybe that's
Let me get there first.
yeah. I love the creative part of
Yeah.
it, but yeah, it's like, but it's funny. Like, I love the creative part of it for myself, but when I'm under the pressure of like, oh, this is for someone else, like, it has to be perfect, it
Yeah.
has to be this, it has to be that, and like, that pressure can sometimes be like, I don't even want to do this no more. Like, who wants to
Yeah.
do this shit?
Well,
I don't even want to do this.
you want to know something crazy?
What?
This is what I really want to do, and I've been working on it.
Okay, but is this another shiny object thing?
No, I'm gonna tell you. This
What?
is this is so I've been writing a screenplay, and before I wrote the screenplay, I've been doing some world building. Do you know what world building is?
No, what is that?
So it's a term. It could be for a novel, it could be for a book, a video game. It doesn't matter. You're basically coming up with the concept of the world, right? It's in a post-apocalyptic future. Zombies exist. And then you're basically building out the rules of the world, what technology exists, all this different type of stuff, right? If you watch any of the things like Hunger Games and all that, they had to come up with like there's a lottery and there's this Hunger Games and then there's
Oh yeah.
what they call them factions. I don't know. Anyway, so I created this dope story that is just like I like fantasize about this story. Like I was like, I want this to be a movie or a video game or something, right? And that's when I start to like my juices like explode and I like literally pause because I don't know how people are gonna take the juices exploding. Um, but I realized that like I still am that Disney, Harry Potter, adventure, Indiana Jones, like I play video games every day. Like I still am that person, and that's the person I was before I even did any of this stuff. And that part
Mhm.
never left me. And it's like you were talking about the poker thing, right? It's like there's this new technology out where I was just watching it. I was just watching the demo of it yesterday. So you know 11 Labs, right?
Mhm.
The AI voice.
Yeah.
They have this thing where it's voice, it's your voice to another voice. So basically, like this guy was like, I'm gonna be an old man. So it wasn't taking AI and creating an AI voice, it was turning his real voice into a different sound. And I was gonna do I dropped I don't have a college degree, but I went to college twice and I went to two different schools for two different things. So I definitely went through the college route. I just didn't finish two times. The second time I went, first time I went for filmmaking in California because I went to be a movie director and a script writer. And then the second time I went for audio recording and arts and technology, which is basically how to run a studio and all that type of stuff. And one of the projects we had was we had to take a comic book and we had to do like a radio play. So we had to like get all the actors to come in the studio and read all the parts, and then we had to add sound effects and music and all that and basically make a radio play. And it was fun. And they're actually really good. Like if the story is good, like just how people listen to podcasts, like I would listen to Harry Potter radio play. You know what I'm saying? Like it's obviously there's a movie. I'm talking about if there wasn't a movie. So I was like, so one of my ideas was to do a radio play just off my story, just like maybe like 3 episodes, like not nothing big, just to kind of put something out there, right? Then I was like, but I gotta get actors, I gotta do all this stuff. Then I see this technology where I can act all the voices, change
Yeah.
them, and that's the type of stuff that excites me, right? That stuff right there, it's like, how could I monetize it? I don't know. I would just be fulfilled to do it. You know what I mean? And I can
Yeah.
rely on myself. So even at the end of the day, even though like you say delegate, have a team, work with other people. I for some reason always gravitate towards doing stuff by myself. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't, maybe it's mental illness, but that's just that stuff that like what would you do if
I mean, I
you
do
were a
what I
millionaire, right? If you were a multimillionaire, you had $25 million in the bank. Is there not something stupid you would do that just like would fulfill you? I mean, you go to Disney almost every week.
Yeah. I would almost say I would live the same life. I mean, I don't know.
Do you remember?
Maybe
Do you remember we were going to open up a escape room?
yes.
There's
And
there's nothing.
look how hot those things are right now. I mean, maybe I would do more stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I guess what I would want to do is build things or position my legacy for the kids to
Yeah.
be set.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, we had this conversation a week ago, right? At the same time, it's like they have to be responsible enough
Yeah.
to be able to handle that rather than just take it and blow it.
Yeah.
So I would that restaurant that I had, oh, that
Yeah.
was so much work, man.
Yeah.
Hell no. I would not ever want to do that again. Escape room, when I think of like those type of physical businesses, the first thing I think of is, you know, you have to have employees working there.
Yeah.
And if they say they don't want to work today, like you have to have systems and processes and people on top of people who can handle it. If not, it falls on you. And I'm like, ooh, so I would be careful of those types of things
All right.
nowadays.
So you want to know our tagline for the Giant Maker?
Tell me.
I think this is where the future is going. And I'm only saying this because I think this is where the future is going. And this kind of does vindicate me for wanting to do that audio play by myself with AI. Is our tagline is your hardest working employee isn't a human. And I think that technology, I think companies, there's 2 routes to go. Number one is that I think that your first employees can be technology, right? And I know that sounds weird, but and I'm saying technology in a generic sense, but there are tools out here that do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Oh, for sure.
So that's number one. Number two is when you do hire employees, they become multiples of themselves because you can empower them with the technology that you are using. You can say, hey, this is now that I have you, employee, I want you to utilize these tools so that you can do more and lift more things, just like a pulley, and I think that that's where it's going. So I would,
Well, funny enough, I do that now, right? So I hired someone and I'm like, hey, look, this is the AI software that we use. These are the prompts that we put in. This is how you export all of this stuff. I need you to do that times 10
yeah,
because I know how fast it can be.
exactly. No, so that's my point. So now if I were to open up a restaurant or a bar or escape room, I would see the first thing I would do is like, how could I utilize technology to do a lot of the work? And I have a Dave and Buster's story that kind of proves that. So you know the Dave and Buster's and Crocker or Westlake.
Sure. Wherever.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean that's the only one other than Columbus, right? Around here. But me and my wife and kids went one day. This is a while back. I think this probably has to be before COVID. And they had some just horrible employees at the front. And they didn't want to work. And they had this little kiosk to the side, and they were like, "Yeah, you could go over there, and just do it yourself." Basically, I was like, "All right." And I remember looking at my wife saying, "She don't realize they're pointing us to the replacement. Why they're not even trying to show like they worth nothing." Like, and believe it or not, I never talk to a human when I go to Dave and Buster's anymore. I don't even look at them; they don't even exist to me.
Are they
And
still at the front desk?
yeah, they're still at the front desk, but it's like I mean, and I don't know how many shifts people are working, but
Yeah.
I guarantee you a bunch of people are managing their Dave and Buster credits with a kiosk, right? So when I think about the things that employees do, like greet people and make sure people are checked in and make sure people have the right expectations, like even for something simple as a reservation, right? Well, when I do reservations stuff now, it's like, okay, it's a person in the front. They're like, okay, let me put you boop, 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 put you in. I'll text you. But imagine if I went on your website and I seen a slot and I grab that slot, and then I get a text message and an email that tells me the best place to park, tells me all this different little stuff, and just other little things. Even if it was, some people don't do like a video message from the head chef. And it just said, "Hey, I'm so excited you're coming here. Here's some of the stuff on the menu that I think that will be, if it's your first time experience." Think about that. So now what you're doing is you're prepping a person, and I'm not saying all people are going to watch the videos, right?
Yeah.
Or
Sure.
read the text. But imagine now when the waiter and waitress comes up, it's like you kind of already have, they send you the menu in the reservation thing. Like you kind of already are prepped, and you're making their job easier. So no one's doing stuff like this. Like yes, every once in a while, go a place they're doing it. But my point is,
it's My City 24/7 on steroids.
yeah. But my point is that as soon as they start doing that stuff, it's gonna be a less employees. So I just feel like there's no way to get around the fact that as soon as people start figuring out better ways to service customers without employees, they're only going to use people that have to do the human part. They even have so the software, the white label software that we're talking about, even has, and it's kind of janky right now, but I can already tell in the next 2 years, it's going to be crazy. Where when you call the phone number, you actually talk to an AI bot in real time. Now it sounds like an AI bot, right? But imagine when it sounds right now. But imagine when it sounds like a person. So you could have 100 people calling at the same time. And your bot can be making appointments, answering questions, giving them all this information. And yes, right now you say like press 1 for this. That's not an AI bot. That's like, hey, I have a specific question about my bill. Okay, well, guess what? It knows your bill. It knows you was late on the last 3 payments. It knows what bank accounts you have set up. So when you start asking questions, it's like, oh, the reason we can't do a payment plan is because you missed 3 payments. Is there any other way I can help you? And the bot will just sit there and be patient forever. It'll stay on the phone with you it will never get mad at you. They will never get a customer service complaint again.
Oh,
because
this is true.
It's gonna be indistinguishable from a human. But guess what? You know, when you call and they're like clicking on the computer, the bot ain't clicking. The bot just knows. Like, oh, I got the information right here. I don't even got to go talk to the manager. I talked to the manager AI, and the manager AI approved the discount. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like it's coming, and I just want to position myself for that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's solid. That's solid because that changes when you talk about changing industries, purple cows, when you talk about those stuff, like that's where we're headed right now. And it feels like sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
It
because
is.
it's going so fast. I wonder, like, you know, sometimes I wonder, it goes so fast, will it break itself? And when I say something like that, it's like, oh, it's just too overwhelming. I just can't take this no more. And like, I'm just going back to a regular phone. I don't want a smartphone. I want the flip phones. It's too like the old people. That's what I dealt with my grandparents, right? It's like, hey, look at this phone, and you can get
Yeah.
on the internet, and you can see us on Facebook. And then like, oh, it's too confusing. It's too much. Da 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 da. Just give me my flip phone. I'm happy.
Do you write
We are
check?
moving. We are moving so fast. No, I don't write. Who writes checks? But funny enough, this school my son is in, he's like in a program to do acting, and they're like, oh, you got to pay $5 for whatever fee. We only take checks. Who
Yeah.
even has checks anymore? Where am I gonna get a check? I gotta go pay $30 for a checkbook for your $5 check.
Listen, that, or if you even go get a cashier's check, I think they're like $5 or something like that. And you got to go into a bank. And the last time I've been into a bank is like been forever. Listen, that's where they talk about the market, right? Those businesses won't survive because
Who don't adapt?
yeah, because think about this: things that are convenient, people can't go backwards. Like people can't. So when you go to Disney, do you do the smart bands? What do you do?
Here and there, I do the smart bands. I like using my phone because it's right there.
That's great. No, that's perfect.
That's even better.
That's perfect. Okay, even. Last time we went, so we did smart bands. We like we some Disney folk. $30 for the smart band. We like walk around. Then it was like, oh, you can use your phone. It's like, oh, the thing I already got. That's so much easier. Just bloop, 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 bloop. My point is that could you ever go back to using the little cards that they had to do?
I mean, I have the card just for quick response. Like, because sometimes, my phone, it's not that it freezes up, but it'll be like, oh, well, today the internet's not working, because service sucks. That's the only reason why I have it. But once that gets better, then no, I would never need the card.
You kill my analogy, but everyone gets the point. The point is that the point. Okay, let's go back to the recliner seats thing that we've been beaten for the past 5-year analogy.
5 years? Oh, probably 15 at this point.
Bro, I think that's been the analogy we used from the moment we met each other. But anyway, could you ever go back to the seats that don't recline?
No, I have gone to a couple movies with no reclining seats, and they've been the worst experience.
Okay, so my point is that I feel like that's how technology is in certain instances when it's convenient for the customer, the majority of customers, and in our society, it's unfortunate, but Gen Z is the biggest population of people with money. They're the biggest population of consumers. Okay, is Gen Z. So it's like, my brothers down to like my daughters, right? And they understand technology and they love it and they're for it. So unfortunately, older people and even us and baby boomers and Gen X and millennials, all of us, we actually don't really have a say with anything because they are the biggest consumer base right now, and they are consuming. They're going to $1,000 Drake concerts. They're going to Taylor Swift concerts and sitting in the nosebleeds. Like, you know what I mean? So my point is that, and that's another reason why it's great to have an agency. If I bring it back full circle, is because there's businesses that just don't know how to be successful on the internet in this digital era. And there's always going to be, and they're not going to want to talk to no Gen Zer coming into their old ceramic store or some roofer. Like, let me tell you what you need to do. We need to do a social media campaign. I need to do a couple of TikToks. They need somebody like me and you to come in that understands both sides and say, look, I know you don't want to do no TikToks, but we're going to put your business on TikTok. But what you're thinking of dancing, that's not what we're talking about. They're like, oh, I get it. So I don't know. Just try to bring it back full circle.
There it is. Technology is moving faster. You need someone to be able to guide you, and agencies could be the way.
Yeah.
Even though I believe the agencies are dying. I believe agencies are dying only because
tell me what you're saying.
What's happening is first of all, there's all these gurus out there that are like, oh, it's so easy to start a marketing agency, SMA, MMA, whatever they're telling you. But the problem is,
I want to
yeah,
punch people.
yeah. But the problem is that what they're doing is they're trying to fit everybody inside of a box.
Yeah.
And the agencies that are popping up right now are just having this template, and they're like, hey, everybody's gonna fit inside this template, which I'm using template, not like website template, but just like this is the framework that everybody needs. Everybody needs a funnel.
Yeah.
I mean, yes and no. Maybe I
Yeah.
see better results from people's website than I do funnels
Yeah.
when I'm running ads.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll prefer to run ads straight to a website because they convert better than the funnels. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, you're not controlling the path or whatever social proof happens on the website. My whole point is like everybody's trying to fit right now. What I see, a lot of agencies try to fit people inside this box. And that's what's hurting agencies, because then people are saying, well, the agencies suck. We need to bring someone in-house, or we need to figure it out ourselves.
No.
And then what it really comes down to is a personalization.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So if the agency stopped putting people in the frameworks or templates, really got to understand who their client was, understand their avatars, business intensive, then they could create programs, ads, frameworks, systems that, you could probably borrow from other things that you've done, but ultimately they have to be specific to that customer. I could have the same roofer in the same town, and they're going to have two different target markets, which means they get talked to differently, and everyone's trying to put everything in the same thing. That's why I think agencies are dying, because they're hurting themselves.
Well, I mean, what I hear you saying is that I blame Gen Z though, but a lot of these YouTubers are young folk talking about social media marketing agencies and all these things, and they're talking about how I'm gonna show you how to get $10,000 a month in the first 30 days, like that mess. I think what I'm thinking about agency and the type of stuff that we're talking about is actually white glove. Like you're actually it's the whole concierge, it's the whole like experience. I've never done the template stuff ever in my life. I don't even know how to do it, because as soon as they ask that question about something, it's like, well, I don't want to try to put something in the box. So yeah, I hear you. That might be a good thing though. I think in this day and age, I think if I were to start an agency, okay, so here's what I would say. If you're 35 and up, I think you're gonna have better success. If you're 35 and up, and this is not to alienate the young people, but I got a point I'm trying to make.
They mad now.
If you're 35 and up, I think you're gonna have better success. And if you specifically go try to work with companies that are already having a proven model of making money, but they're just falling behind every month, every year with this digital gap. They're number one, when you come in, it's just the older people, more established people, just like they're gonna look at somebody our age, and they're gonna say, oh, you're married, you have kids, like you're like established, like you're talking stuff that makes sense to me, but you're also talking all this newness that I don't understand. I think what happens is, and I've had conversations because my brother has an agency and he's 27, and I do a lot of consulting with him because he's like, bro, how do I approach this? Blah, blah, blah. I just got this. I sent this proposal and they picked the lower price, and I want them to. I'm trying to make the middle one look the best, but they picked the lowest one. And I looked at his language, and it's because he was trying to sell them a beautiful website. He was like, hey, we're gonna have you the best modern looking website ever. I was like, people don't care about websites. Their website's got to do something. You got to build them a machine, a system. It has to be doing something while they sleep. And he was like, oh, I get it now. And that's what I mean. It's like a business is like, you're just going to make me a better looking business card, and that's going to make me more money. So you're telling me you're going to take my website and you're going to change it and make it look just better? Like,
how is that? Saying is design without results
Is art.
is just art. I use that all the day.
Yeah.
I use that all the time. And I quote you from it, and I have to say, I don't know if he got it from somebody, but this is fire.
Yeah.
Design without results.
I want to
is
say I
just-
made that up just because I don't know.
Yeah. Listen, I like it. Sometimes I say I made it up, but it's
Listen,
solid.
I be man, do you know how many times I just said a quote and it's just like, yeah, I made that up because I don't even remember where I got it from. At this point, it's mine. You know, it's like that person's not like the person's probably not even alive anymore, you know. So, and it's not like I'm trying to steal somebody's quote just to be a thief. It's just I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, I remember you telling me about the future, and the future said something along the lines of like, not that you are directly stealing from people or whatever it is, but if there are things that happen that are around you that you get inspiration from, unless you live in a cave, then you can absolutely say that it's totally original.
Yeah.
But whatever you design or whatever happens typically comes from some inspiration or something you pulled from a little thing from here, a little thing from there. And that made me feel better as a designer because like you have that like, oh, I don't want to steal nobody's stuff. Like I want it to be mine. But at the end of the day, like you've been inspired by life.
Yeah.
And you don't even know, like 2 years ago, you looked at something and now you're designing something that kind of resembles that. And you don't even know where it came from, but it was just a thought in your brain. Just like you're saying, I don't even know where this, I don't even know where the quote came from.
Yeah.
But all right, that's good, man. Well, this is kind of where we are today, and moving forward is exciting to talk about this podcast because bringing in all the stuff of new technology, HeyGen, 11, whatever, you know, SaaS stuff. I mean, there's so much. I've been purposefully listening to more podcasts so that I was like, oh, what do I like about the podcast? What do I don't like about the podcast? How do I make this And I think, you know, I'm not going to get hung up on that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like I think people will appreciate the value that we bring because we've done a lot.
We have.
I think that's a great thing. So
yeah, absolutely.
On that note, you're still working.
Yeah, I got some more stuff to do today.
Yuck.
Yeah. Well, that's what you said. You said Fridays are your easy days. Mondays are my easy days. So
yeah,
Fridays are never my easy days. They're like my get everything done so I can enjoy the weekend day.
Oh man. So, yeah, I'd be stressed out.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, let me get to it.
It sounds good, man. Well, until next time, get that background done.
All right.
Simple.
All right. All right, man. See you.